When I come across something that I think is important to share or that has made an impression on me, I generally think that it's good information to pass along. So you've seen all this kind of stuff before. These are tap handles. What I've got in the vise here is a piece of 15 series 80/20 extrusion, and this interior hole that's actually made in the part already when it's produced is actually sized for a 5/16 tap. And so I'm trying to make a stand for a toolbox that I recently picked up, and I need to put a 5/16 hole in there. So this is normally what I would use. I wouldn't use if you've seen the other one that has the vertical alignment tool, I wouldn't use that one because the 5/16 tap has a lot of bite to it, so you kind of need a little bit more leverage. So I've had this one forever, just some cheap import, not very smooth. Nothing fancy there. Here's a very small one, like $2 or $3 for small taps or something in plastic. That's fine. Here's one that a friend of mine was getting rid of some tools, and they gave me this one, and this is probably the nicest one. And it's actually, I don't know if you can tell, it's compound, so that for actually when I unscrew it here, it's sucking the grip or the vise jaw down inside the handle. But it's just interesting. But the fit and the finish isn't very good, and the number one problem I always have with this type is that they loosen up when you're trying to use the tap, and when you really want to be able to feel what the tap is doing. You don't want it to have slop in it, so, or at least I don't, especially when you're trying to make a hole for a bolt that's got some weight to it. So what I picked up on eBay was a Starrett. This is a 91B, and this handle, I mean, this was used, but this handle is ridiculous how much grip you can get on the part, how much leverage. It's one piece. All this is one piece. This is part of the handle, screws in and out. And look at this hole. I mean, that's just I know this is old school. Any of you guys that have been around doing machine work for a long time, this is nothing to you, and you're like, why would you use anything different? Well, when you're just getting into it, you don't really know all those little tricks. So the way that this is made is just ridiculous. It's solid. I can get such a grip on this tap, it's not even funny. There's no way that's going to loosen up when I'm using it. And I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? You might spend $30 or so on the used market if you keep your eye out for one that's in good condition, doesn't have any markings on it. Some people don't like to have markings on them as far as who the tool owner was. This one doesn't have any markings on it, and it's in really good shape, and just fantastic. I don't know why I waited so long, but this is made in America, and it's just the nicest one that I have seen. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out. They make this in various sizes, very small to much larger than this. So just wanted to pass that along. This would save you a lot of headache, and it would be the last tap handle you would probably have to buy, no doubt. So, alright, and since I'm showing you this very nice quality tap handle, let me show you. I think I've done this before, but I may have left out some of the things that help with the hole. What you'll find out is, and I forgot, that's why I thought about this, but I just tapped this one 5/16, and what usually happens is it leaves a little bit of a ridge where the tap starts to go in, and it can slightly deform the material and leave a little bit of a burr here. So what you generally want to do is, taking my trusty little chamfer tool here, is I'm gonna, and you don't have to be real lenient with it because this is a fairly sizable hole. So I'm sure you can see that nice chamfer I've got on there now. So now when I tap this, any residual that tries to push up is actually still going to be underneath or it's going to be at least flush with the top of this. So again, lube is a good thing. Just put a little bit on here. And I know there's people out there probably screaming at me like, what are you doing? You don't know if you're going in straight. Well, right or wrong, what I have found out is I can eyeball it in both this way and make sure I'm pretty close. And then what I will do is just keep an eye on it, and once you can kind of feel it in the groove, It's going to be a little bit self-guiding, and I know there's people that are probably like, no, but again, I don't have a tap table. I don't have, you know, a machine shop or anything like that. So this works. So I'm going to keep doing it. So again, anytime you're tapping, always put some lubrication on it, especially with aluminum. Aluminum is sticky. The other thing, if you noticed, this is a 2-flute tap. I've pulled the first set I pulled out, unfortunately, was a 4-flute. I have snapped off at least 2 taps in aluminum using a 4-flute before an old timer told me why that was such a bad idea. So now, especially for aluminum, I only use 2-flute taps. Always, you know, pay attention to it. It's just like driving a stick shift. You got to listen to it. You got to kind of feel it. When it starts resisting more than normal, you need to do something different. And whether that's back it all the way out, clean the threads out, put some more lube on it, whatever you need to do to make it right is what you should do. Otherwise, a broken off tap makes for a very bad day and possibly a ruined part depending on where it breaks off. So probably got enough thread in there. I'm only threading this enough for, what is that, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 5/16 screw there. So that should be a plenty. And this is going to be one of the side pieces for the it's mainly a stand, but it's also going to give me some clearance underneath that I can store stuff. And it's a good way for me to, I've got little cut off pieces of 80/20 like this just sitting around. It's a good way for me to repurpose those instead of having them taking up valuable shop space, because this is kind of a win-win. I gain some room underneath the toolbox, and I also gain some more room in the shop, which I desperately need. So anyway, if this was a redo of stuff in the past, I apologize, but these types of things are like foundational type things, and I thought it was important. So again, this tap handle, it has not let go, and I couldn't be more pleased. And again, this information is not for the old guys. The old guys already know this, so don't hate on me too bad. But for the new upcomers or the people just getting into it like me, quality tools can save you so much grief. So enough of my preaching. Alright, I got all the pieces done. I'm going to put this thing together. Pay no attention to the banging around. That's my kids playing upstairs. So these are the main components. Again, very simple. This is actually the second time I'm putting together, and I made a slight modification to it because I added tapped holes on the front side, because I took a couple of these type brackets, milled off the loop, and just filed the edges, and that's going to be my keeper to keep the toolbox from sliding off the front. Not that I think it would, but this way it does two things. It dresses up the front of the part, makes it look a lot cleaner, and it also keeps the toolbox from ever possibly sliding off the front. So here we go. Alright, so she's put together. Just making sure she's solid, so yeah, that's good. So now I've got a front edge, a back edge, and a side edge, and it looks pretty cool. A good way to use some junk I had laying around. So there you go. nice and clean. Got some room underneath. If I ever spill anything, I'm not going to get it on the toolbox. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all the new subscribers. And if you like oddball projects like this and mechanical stuff, pneumatic stuff, electrical stuff, you never really know what I'm going to get into. So subscribe if you haven't already. And anyway, hope everybody's doing well. And we'll talk to you next time.